In the pre-colonial era, Africa, especially Nigeria as an example, they had a way of resolving the dispute before the court system. They were using the village head, the chiefs, and the community to resolve disputes between two warring communities or two disputing parties. But in 1976, the popularization of mediation was coined by Frank Sander. He's been credited with coining of the 10 alternative dispute resolution in an address to the Poland Conference of 1976. In 1976, at the invitation of the Chief Justice of the United States, Sander delivered a paper entitled Varieties of Dispute Processing at the Poland Conference, which put forth the notion of the multi-door courthouse. Yeah, I know our researchers and scholars are giving name to a lot of findings, and in mediation, the mediator helps to facilitate communication between two parties and help them to explore settlement options. Mediation is a collaborative process. The parties control whether the dispute is resolved or not. So before the popularization of mediation in pre-colonial African society, especially in Nigeria as an example, like I said before, most of the disputes are being resolved by a chief or a village head, which they take the matters to the chief, or like for a kind of complaint to the chief or the village head, which they come together to resolve the dispute before the court system came in process. But it's from 1970s that the mediation became more popular. So for the history of mediation depends on each country, because everyone have their way of resolving dispute before the court system, even before the popularization of alternative dispute resolution, which you have arbitration, mediation, conciliation, and negotiation, and every other aspect of it. So the history of mediation depends on each country, because everyone have the long history of their own alternative dispute resolution before the court system. So the more popularization of mediation started in 1970s. So it's a way of resolving dispute where party comes together and decide their matter with the help of the mediator. So the history is quite more of, I would say, more of popularization of ADR was in the 1970s by Frank Sander. So it's trying to tell the court system, that paper that was delivered, telling the court system we have alternative outside the court. They can make disputes to be resolved faster and in a quicker way.